Hey guys, Matt, IronTrap Garage, and today we're working on the 39 Mercury we've been calling the Jersey Devil that we rescued out of a building in New Jersey last summer. Been sitting for a very long time, and we just in the last couple videos got the engine in, got it running, and then we got it to move under its own power, and finally got a gas tank in it. So now that it runs with its own gas tank, and it's starting to become a real car here soon. Now I know I mentioned in one of the previous videos we were going to do brake stuff next, but it is really hard to get the engine and the carburetors tuned in better with those open exhaust manifolds. It just makes a ton of noise, and while it was cool at first to hear it running in general, now it's kind of annoying. So what we need to do is put some exhaust on this thing, and then we can work on the brakes separately. So I went ahead and ordered a bunch of supplies. I got a set of brand new Fenton exhaust manifolds or headers. I like vintage parts, but in this case I was having trouble finding a good set of used ones. A lot of the used vintage ones have been broken and brazed and just are generally in poor condition. Since you can get them brand new and they're basically the same as what they were back in the day, they just continue to recast them. I think it was a good option just to buy brand new ones. So Steve's gonna work on getting those thrown on. Well, I'm gonna start unpacking this kit. I got a full like dual exhaust kit, if you will, of just straight pipe and mandrel bends. We're going to be putting that on the car, and this car needs to have dual exhaust with that hopped up flathead, the two tailpipes coming out the back. I think it'll be really cool. So what we're going to work on is get that manifold on. I'll get this all opened up, and then I'll work on getting this exhaust built. I'm going to have to just custom build it with the mandrel bands and cut and weld everything up, but we should have something that sounds pretty cool by the end of this video. Fingers crossed. All right, so now we got the manifolds on, got the car back up in the air. The next thing I'm going to do is I have the kit for the manifolds, or the headers, whatever you want to call them. They come with a set of flanges, just generic kind of exhaust flanges, and then a gasket, and then of course bolts. So I already got one bolted up here. I'm going to bolt up the other side. Now what I could do is just leave that flange on tight and start fitting our tubing just to get the bend that we want right out of the engine, because that's kind of the most difficult part. The rest of it, once you get past kind of like the steering, especially the steering box area on an early Ford where the steering box is always in the way, these manifolds luckily put the exhaust at a pretty good spot, so it just needs a slight bend to get it through the X member, and then we just kind of like a so-called straight shot back till we get to the rear end. So I like to bolt these flanges up, get them tight so that we know where they're going to be, and then I can start just sticking the tubing right through there and start working on our bend. That way you can have a little bit of tubing stick through here, and you can adjust it, move it in and out before you actually tack it. And the flanges, until we are ready to actually tack them, can just live up here for the first hour or so of fit up to get this this beginning section made. Might as well try my first cut on a piece I need. No testing, no safety net. We just do it.
Yep. That was ridiculous. That was better. It just worked faster than a plasma cutter.
Oh my God.
That was awesome.
That was pretty, I mean, I know it's exhaust tubing, but still, that's pretty.
I know, that's freaking awesome.
And there was no giant crazy sparks.
Nope, no drama, no nothing.
All right, your favorite tool. All right, so we got the pipes all the way back here to the rear axle, and you can see I have a dump down here. So what we're doing is we're in between the spring and the rear. There's a bit of space here, so we could sneak in a piece of exhaust through on both sides. So we're having the exhaust kind of come through behind, and then it's going to basically 90 again, and then come all the way out under the gas tank, and then out here to our bumper. So we'll have our tailpipe. So I have all that pretty much set up. This stuff still has some play. I haven't put any hangers, so we could set our height just right here where the axle is. We're gonna have to let the lift down and just kind of check compression of the suspension just to make sure that everything jives before I put the hangers in. We have a little bit of play and stuff, so you can see it goes all the way back here. I have a little S-bend here. The only modification I had to make, which is super common, I had to basically, where there's like two holes like this, just open them up and make a slot like here, and then all the way up front it sneaks around and under, and that's where using those mandrel bends is really nice because you can get everything snuck in. This side, those Fenton headers are really nice. They line right up with the slot there, and it can come all the way back. And then the same thing, we have a slot back, or a slotted that, and then we have a little S-bend. I just been using some cardboard just to keep my height up off so it doesn't end up sitting too low going through those holes. So that's everything we have going there. We're gonna set the lift down, check compression, and just make sure we have clearance over the axle. And then should be able to weld our tailpipes on, clamp it up, put some hangers on, and hear what it sounds like. I don't know how lined up those are, probably not.
You got another 6 inches. That's good there.
Get them lined up. I wonder if I should just put jack stand on the front. Oh, that one. All right, you're good there. Put on the rears. There, you're on the stands now. Wow, that was actually pretty level. The front's just starting to touch me on.
Yeah, that's it.
Now we can see what's going on. I'm a little scared. Everything I did might be wrong now. How's that look?
It looks good. I can't see anything that even would hit at that point.
That's even gonna hit? I mean,
I'm trying to see what is hitting now.
that might, I don't know if anything's hitting, that might just be stuff moved. The suspension moving
I
around.
can't tell if it's it might be the exhaust pipe hitting the bottom of the floorboard
Well, here.
over top of the wishbone there.
Yeah, it's a little close there. I can see that. Right where the corner is.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Where it goes back up again.
Yeah, and I can. We can't push it down. The problem is we can't push the car up and down the suspension
Right.
travel because we're there.
Yeah.
But that looks a little better.
That
for
looks
sure.
way better. Yeah. Yeah, definitely.
Now the question is, do we have travel here at that height? It's plenty off the gas tank. I would love to not have to put multiple U's.
Yeah. Oh, definitely.
So if I could just have a 90 up and then a 90 in,
Yep.
that would be ideal. So that's our options, is either.
Right.
That's essentially where we want the tailpipe to be.
Yeah. Yep.
So it would be a matter of, do I want to go up? Because we were just hitting, and we were really bouncing out.
Yeah.
So if it went way up into that thing, I don't think it would ever be an issue.
No.
In fact, there couldn't be, because that would be the way to do it. If it's higher than the highest point in the center section, the center section would hit first before the exhaust.
Right.
Which means you're bottoming out the center section on the floor.
Yep.
So All right, so I got some exhaust mounts welded in on this, and you can see we ended up going with a wider position for the tailpipes. At first we we split the difference between the, basically quartered it, so we went like a quarter of the way in on each pipe, but it looked kind of silly, we thought. It was more of like a, I don't know, some kind of muscle car or something with the pipes right in the center. So we split them back out. It looks a lot better. We're going to be putting stainless tips on here in a little bit, but we got the mounts welded in. We ended up deciding to go, and it's kind of hard to see in here, way up over the axle here, and I'm going to try and jump over so you guys can see. I'll turn the light. There you go. So we ended up going like big loop up over into the hump in the floor. We were going to go over, but I was much lower and it wasn't going to work. We found we were bouncing the car. It was hitting on full, like, you know, big bumps. So we got everything pretty much slid in place, clamped, and ready to go. So now I have to disassemble everything, and we got to paint all this tubing because some of it is non-aluminized tubing, so it does need to be painted. So we can get this all off, get it all painted in some exhaust paint, and then put it back together. And we just got to put a few clamps on and set it down, set the tip angle, and then we could fire it up and see what it sounds like. All right, so we got the 39 Merc all started up, and it sounds awesome. Not only does it sound good, it also made the car run a lot better. That lack of back pressure, we were having a little bit of like stumbling when we were revving it up, and just overall it was hard to get it tuned in. We turned the idle down just a little bit more at the end there, and I think now we can really tune it in to get everything set really nice. But the fact that it started pretty easily and it sounded so good is definitely a win. What I did on this is I built the whole exhaust with no mufflers. I know people are going to be yelling. Everybody that's too old because it's too loud is going to be yelling that it's, you know, it makes too much noise. But what I did is I built the whole exhaust straight through. If we decide that it is a little too noisy, just like I did with Beautiful, we can get some of those slip-in baffles, and it actually surprisingly drops the sound quite a bit. It takes a little bit of the crack away. But I want to get this outside, drive it around a little bit, and see how loud it really is. Sometimes when you get it out in the open, it's really not that bad. But all I do know is that it sounds badass, and it is perfect for this car. And it is a huge, huge win for this, because now basically all we need to do is get the brakes all set up on this car, and we can take this for a test drive. I have some tires on order, so hopefully pretty soon in the spring, we'll have this thing ready that we can take it around the block and put a few miles on it. So thank you guys for following along. Let me know what you think of the exhaust note down below in the comments, good or bad. Let's hear it. Thanks, guys. Catch you later. No gas. Nice.
You're gonna stand right there and start to turn around and go, no bumper. What do you think?